often do you reach for cash when making a purchase? If you're like most Americans, it's not very often, and the bigger the purchase, the more likely you are to use a credit or debit card. Fraudsters are aware of these statistics, so they develop tricky tactics to intercept your card information during the purchase process. Welcome to Money Tip Tuesday from the Making Money Personal podcast. Now more than ever, it's important to safeguard sensitive card information to prevent an interruption in your ability to make important purchases. It's often stressed to pay attention to any attempts to steal our information when we use our cards online. But the unfortunate reality is that even if the card stays in your physical possession while you're paying, there are several ways your card information can be stolen and used fraudulently. Let's revisit 2 of these criminal practices and learn how you can be your own superhero and stop fraud before it happens. The first one is skimming, and you've likely heard about this one before. Skimming is a technique employed by criminals to steal sensitive payment card data, including credit or debit card numbers, PIN codes, and other personal information. Even though this illegal technique has been around for more than 20 years, it's still one of the most common types of card fraud. It typically occurs when a physical device known as a skimmer is placed on or near a legitimate card reader, such as an ATM or a point-of-sale terminal at a store or gas pump. The skimmer is designed to capture card data, while an additional component like a hidden camera or a keypad overlay records PIN codes or other information about the payment card transaction. Even if you have a chip card, many card terminals still use the magnetic stripe on the back of the card in addition to or instead of the chip. The only transactions that aren't subject to skimmers are those where you don't insert your card past the chip portion. Therefore, the magnetic stripe is not readable, or if you use Tap to Pay. Tap to Pay allows a cardholder to physically tap the card on the device, which uses short-range wireless card reader technology to access the account, rather than relying on the physical attributes of the card. So how do you detect a skimmer? Well, first of all, examine the card reader carefully. When using an ATM or a point-of-sale terminal at a store or fuel pump, check the device for anything that looks odd. Fraudsters may attach a skimmer directly over the card slot or PIN pad, resulting in something that's not the same color or shape or looks a little bulky. Look for any other signs of tampering, such as scratches, glue residue, or a loose-fitting card slot. You can touch it and see if it moves. If anything seems suspicious, avoid using the machine and report it immediately. A second way is to use your hand to shield your PIN. You may develop a habit using your hand to shield the keypad when entering your PIN code if you're in line at the grocery store. But what about when you're alone at an ATM or a gas pump? You need to include this as a habit every time you enter your PIN, no matter where you are. Criminals often install tiny miniature cameras at the point where a skimmer is installed to capture your PIN, as the skimmer captures the information from your card. A third way is to use secure and trusted devices. Whenever possible, use ATMs or payment terminals that are in well-lit, secure areas. When filling up, choose pumps close to and within sight of employees. Illegal skimmers must be installed by someone, and criminals will choose areas where they are the least likely to be noticed and caught. And then, of course, monitor your accounts regularly. Regularly review your bank statements, your credit card statements, and your transaction history for any unauthorized or suspicious activity. Report any discrepancies to your financial institution immediately. The second method that fraudsters try to steal your card information is through something called gluing, or also known as glue and tap. This is a method that criminals use at ATMs to access your bank account directly, skipping the need for your card information altogether. This scam typically occurs at a freestanding ATM in a well-trafficked area where people approach on foot. It goes like this. The perpetrator pours glue into the card reader, setting up the scam. Sometime later, you visit the ATM to retrieve cash, but you find that you can't insert your card. A seemingly helpful bystander tells you that the machine's jammed, but if you tap your card, you can still make a withdrawal. At that point, you tap either your card or phone and enter the PIN required for tap transactions and leave, often even thanking the helpful stranger. The bystander's counting on you, the victim, not being familiar with this type of withdrawal and unaware that you'll need to take an extra step to exit the account on the screen before leaving the ATM. Unlike when a card is inserted and the account window closes when the card's removed, a tap transaction must be closed out on the screen. The criminal perpetrating the scam expects the victim to be unfamiliar with the process, and they can then drain the account that's been left open. Some victims even report being uncomfortable due to the bystander's presence, therefore completing their transaction and being distracted in their effort to leave the area quickly and safely, leaving their account window open even if they know better. Scammers utilized this method back in 2023 during a series of incidents in San Francisco, which was featured in a video news report. If you want to see the report, you can check it out using the link in the show notes. To help protect yourself from this kind of scam, avoid any ATM with a card reader that doesn't seem to work properly. If you're comfortable using the tap feature on your phone or card for transactions, always wait for the prompt asking if you're finished and confirm that your account is no longer accessible before leaving. So to wrap it up, it's all up to us to stay protected against identity theft, particularly in the case of payment card fraud. But if a criminal gets your payment card, they may not stop there. If you feel you may be a victim of identity theft, remember we have professionals standing by to help you get your life back on track. If you have a better checking account at Triangle, make sure you take a moment to review and activate your monitoring benefits. This will help you stay informed of any activity that could indicate you're a victim of identity theft. If there are any other tips or topics you'd like us to cover, let us know at tcupodcast@trianglecu.org. Also, remember to like and follow our Making Money Personal Facebook and Instagram pages to share your thoughts. And finally, remember to look for our sponsor, Triangle Credit Union, on Facebook and LinkedIn. Thanks for listening to today's Money Tip Tuesday. Check out our other tips and episodes on the Making Money Personal podcast.